Friends, I am not trying to advise you. I'm just putting forth some of my thoughts, which made me think way back in the early 70s as to how do we bring Ayurveda back to its glory. I was a student of Ayurveda in a very traditional Ayurvedic college. After completing the course, I started wondering whether I really do have a future practicing the way Ayurveda was taught to me and to the then generation. When I entered the college itself, I was worried. Ayurveda itself was in the intensive care unit. And what future does the science have? On having gone through the course, being taught by very eminent acharyas of the Pathashala, I realized that this is going to be the world's greatest science for the welfare of human health. But how do we sell this concept? How do we attract young, brilliant students like you all? Those days, students who did not get a seat in, I used to keep joking, in a butler's course or a cobbler's course as a last option, came to study Ayurveda. And after completing Ayurveda and getting a degree, they used to practice Western medicine, about which they had no idea. And so my worry was, we need to attract the best students who completed their +2 and bring them directly into Ayurveda. Those days, the best students would go for Western medicine, engineering, law, BCom, and the last few leftovers who just managed to get 35-40% were the ones who came and joined Ayurvedic colleges. I've always said, with due respect to Western medicine, to be a master of Western medicine, it's not a big job. After all, you need to master about the human body between the height of 6 feet and width of maybe 3 feet, and that's the end of your world. But to learn Ayurveda, you need to know every planet, every plant, every metal, mineral, human body, consciousness, mind, soul, so many things. And my dear friends, studying Ayurveda is not like going in for studying on engineering or accounting, because those are all man-made sciences and arts. Here we have a science with us, which has been divine creation. We say Brahma Smrit Ayusho Vedam. Even Brahma remembered and recollected Ayurveda, which means it has been there before then. And how did these great acharyas come up with these great facts about which we study today? The qualities of different milk, the qualities of different herbs, fruits, everything. They did not have laboratories. They did not have nutritional labs to testify all this. But these were all intuitionally derived. Ken Wilber, in his book on the third eye, says there are 3 levels of eyes. One is the biological eye, which is your physical eye, your microscopes, etc. You have a mental eye, and then an eye of consciousness. Ayurveda was all visualized through the eye of consciousness. And from those heights, in the name of modernization and research, we are actually coming down to the biological eye level. So is this really a progress or a digress? I always believed we need to elevate, every student of Ayurveda should elevate himself or herself to greater heights, to derive these messages from a higher plane and become more intuitive. And that is what our great masters of the past was. I asked my father, who was an eminent Vaidya, late Aryavaidan P.V. Ramavarya, how did you become a good Vaidya? He used to tell me 20 hours a day, 20 years continuously, sat at his master's feet and then mastered little Ayurveda. So to study little Ayurveda, you need to spend 20 hours and 20 years. You could imagine today spending 4.5 or 5.5 years, limited hours per day, limited days per year. How much can we master? So this is not something which can be really understood from texts but you need to learn it from the Gurumukh, from the mouth of a teacher directly. And a teacher, I'm sorry, I don't say teachers, I say gurus. And even this project is called Ayush Guru. Gurus are somebody far more higher evolved souls than mere teachers. And those days, it was all oral tradition of teaching. There was no writing. After that, my father used to say, when writing came up, studying all the shlokas, which you need to by heart it. And before that, you need to master Sanskrit. The olden tradition was to write with your finger in a box filled with sand. And as you write second time, third time, your finger starts bleeding, which means you try to learn as fast as possible to avoid this pain. Then came the writing tradition, and today, unfortunately, even the writing tradition has gone. In the name of modernization, all the classes are coming through WhatsApp, internet, etc. And therefore, a little later, like olden days, the art of writing would be lost. Now, I am one who believes every student of Ayurveda has to be someone who has to be spiritually evolved. When I say spiritual, I don't mean religion. Being spiritual is something far above religion. And this applies to, doesn't matter which religion you belong to. Maybe you are a Muslim, maybe a Christian, maybe Hindu, but elevate yourself to those great heights where, for example, I keep saying, today if you have a good amplifier, you can tune into Australian Broadcasting Corporation, British Broadcasting Corporation, Canadian Broadcasting Government, so ABC, BBC, CBC, everything can come. Similarly, if we can elevate ourselves to the level of a highly powerful amplifier, all the thoughts and voices of all the great acharyas like Vavkada, Sushruta and Charaka is still there in the space. And from their mouth, and that is why we say we need to devote ourselves to Adi Guru. And from them, the parampara comes, and you should be one of those to get a guru from whom they can just transfer. They don't have to speak at it. Speaking has its own limitation. Vast volume of knowledge cannot be easily given orally or through a class. A teacher has a limitation, and today especially, it's a 40-minute class, and within 40 minutes, there are portions to be completed. Students who, unfortunately today, we have lost the power of thinking, because in school, we are made to mug up. And a great teacher in Kerala, Shailaja teacher, she says, it's like the Kerala dish called puttu. The tube is filled with rice and coconut. When it's steamed, you just push it out, the whole thing is empty. So every year at the end of the exam, you push it out, you're empty, nothing is retained. Whereas Ayurveda needs to be retained. But the amount of books that we have, reference textbooks that we have, and those days learning Sanskrit, you need to have drama, you need to have psychology, philosophy, Tarkashastra, mantra, tantra, yantra, astrology, astronomy. This is a great country, a Punya Bhumi. We have 64 arts and sciences, and all are interrelated. And if a Vaidya should master all this, it is humanly, physically not possible within the number of hours a day and the number of days and years that we have in our life. Today, you present to Googlacharya, you can get any material of your choice. Now, before that satellite came, there was a higher satellite, the divine powers, and if you can get into it. And that's why I say to all the students who complete Ayurveda, who come in large numbers to our Coimbatore campus, where we continuously give them Tattva Prakashini of 15 days program, we have Kalpana Bodhini program, we have Karma Prakashini program. Almost every month we have such programs, and students from all over the country come. I tell them, more than gaining knowledge, what you need to do is transform yourself. Early morning waking up is a must to go into the spiritual level. A little bit of meditation, yoga as much as possible, prayers, and these things will start helping you to start going inward. Where science ends, spirituality starts. And science has its own limitations. And once you start getting into that mood, getting to know who are you and why are you here. Today I keep explaining to everybody how many thousands of students who have completed Ayurveda, getting seats with difficulty, paying huge sums of money as capitation fee for the post-graduation. Unfortunately, the day they come out with a degree, they don't continue to practice. Why? And this is why the Gurukula College, way back in 78, which I started for setting up a very different type of education unlike what I studied, where I said we need to check the horoscopes of the students who come. Do they have the praptam to become a Vaidya? Do they have the Kaipunya that if they give medicine, it works miracles in the patient? And students were selected based on that, and all the students who came from them, not one has been a single failure. All of them have become great masters in their own fields as teachers. We have the state of Kerala has got today a drug controller, a student of ours. Many of the principals of many colleges of Ayurveda are our students. Many professors, there are government officials, there are doctors in the government service. All these students came out through the Gurukula project. When I launched it, there was a lot of amusement. There was a lot of sarcasm. Why should you check into horoscope? And today, to a great extent, I insist that the patient should check the horoscope. And we find the majority of the diseases are either the Kuladeva Kobam or curse of your ancestors. And we have so many asadhya rogas which we say we cannot, but it can be made sadhya through astrology and the various havans that are available. Unbelievable scientific Tantra Shastra can be applied to a great extent. Make it sadhya. And if you can go through Shuddha Ayurveda. Everybody keeps asking me whichever college I go to. My full-time job now is going for convocations to colleges. When we go there, they say, what about the bridge course? I tell them, you don't need to. Nothing wrong in knowing any amount of sciences. Today, majority of the world lives on Western medicine. As a Vaidya, if you say, I don't know much about it, the patient will feel you are not aware of these things. But my only suggestion is, why should it be during this valuable 4.5 or 5.5 years of your academic time? After that's done, you can get into all those Shastras, learn the parameters based on which diagnoses are made, and you should be up to date with Western medicines so that when they come to you, in the beginning days when I started the hospital, nobody came for Ayurveda. Later on, the ones on the way to cemetery used to come and get consulted, and surprisingly, many of those given up cases where Western medicine started getting healed, and today there are people who come in their own flight, get treated and go back. Now, when they come with big files from Mayo Clinic and John Hopkins and world's top-class hospital, as a Vaidya, you cannot say, I'm not aware of these things. But take time to come out and do it. And if you can grow spiritually, you'll find learning any science is a matter of few minutes or hours. You can do that. And once you evolve yourself and open up your third eye, and for this, today we say, what is the password to open any account? You need to have a password. And ancient days, what is the password? The mantra diksha, given by a great acharya, on which you chant and bring it under your control. You find whatever you want to know on the world, whether it is one of the 64 sciences or any worldly things happening across the world, you just use the mantra and try to open up, and you find vast amount of knowledge available. Not only knowledge available which will be duplicated by you, but even you start getting many realizations. And your words become aptavakya, people saying, we have never heard anybody giving interpretation like this. And a Vaidya has to be a local social guardian in society. As Vaidyas, we cannot limit ourselves to human disease alone. Today there are so many problems in society. So many social evil is there. Are these diseases also not ours? How are you going to solve them? How are you going to heal them? And for that, you need to have extraordinary power. And this is how society locally should start depending and looking upon to a Vaidya as to what is the solution. Our local countrymen who come and ask us, where do I buy a land? Can I buy a property? What business should I start? What does my children should study? You start getting visions of what exactly they should do. And that's why you become a local guru. And once you become that, then take it from me, you're going to make it big in life. Now, I'm not talking big in life as financially. Financial is also, yes. But more than finance, there is something more of having a high reputation in society. And once you achieve this, I keep asking all the students who come to me, would you like to suffer in the beginning and enjoy life in the long term? And suffering is only for a short period. Or would you enjoy life in the beginning, which is what majority says, yes, as students we need to live a life of, enjoy it to the maximum and then suffer. What is suffering in the beginning? It is all self-inflicted. And self-inflicted means waking up a little early. Today, unfortunately, most of the students have a habit of going to bed late at night. For what? If you can wake up early in the morning, when it's all calm and peaceful, you start getting messages. But we are scared of our own voices. You start getting peeps into your heart, into your head, and then you start wondering, hey, what is this? But if you have the courage, and this is where you need to be disciplined in yourself. If you have the courage to stand up to the messages that you get, you find you are driven to what is your destiny. Whereas if you are not going to have the courage to listen to the inner voice and then take your own property ahead, your own thoughts ahead. Whole thing I keep saying, what is Bhagavad Gita? It is Krishna-Arjuna Samvada, but at the personal level, it is the dialogue between your heart and the head. Heart thought doesn't have majority, whereas your head thought gets a lot of support. And if you can have the courage to go according to your heart message, take it from me, you will suffer. So when many youngsters come and tell me, sir, we are suffering, I say, congratulations. And they say, why do you say that? Which means the Lord has taken into his or her hands. You will be tried to be given the maximum so-called problem. But believe me, he himself gives you the solution. And if you can pass through the tube and come out to the other side, then you enjoy a wonderful life. Wonderful life, not only which can make you happy, but your patients can get happy, the society around you can become happy, you become a social reformer, your thoughts becomes a seed for many other people to take it and make life beautiful for larger society. So we are going to become not only people who can heal somebody's small ailments, but ailments which are of a larger nature. And for this, we need to study not only Ayurveda, take time and start studying Sanskrit. Because each word in Sanskrit has different connotations and meanings in different contexts. So don't limit it. And today we find the language of Sanskrit is becoming a worldwide issue. Even yesterday's paper says 14 universities are taken to Sanskrit. How come we, the country where Sanskrit was born, is not giving the necessary support? Today, thanks to Modi ji, he started giving a lot of impetus, not only for yoga, Sanskrit, Ayurveda. We now have Department of Ayush, who's encouraging a lot of research to be done. And today the whole world is coming to India. Why? The failure of Western medicine to a great extent. There are new diseases which are cropping up, for which they are unable to prescribe and heal it. Whereas Ayurveda, if you can study the basics of Tridosha method, go through the old traditional way of studying it, then you start finding there is no disease which you cannot diagnose. And every college student keep asking, what about critical conditions, emergency conditions? we can certainly deal with it. But have faith in our own basic understanding. You don't need the support of any other tool. With your own knowledge, with your divine touch. And I always felt it is not the medicine alone that works. The person behind the medicine also matters. And how evolved he is. And you find if that evolved person can give ordinary ashes or can give a simple water. Jesus Christ has cured people by giving plain water. You can charge the water. Your mantras can heal the patients. And you find never again in their life they come back with the same problem. Western medicine doesn't believe in a word called cure. They say you can only delay death or you only can postpone the illness onset of it. But we have patients who come with critical condition, who was given a verdict by eminent doctors that you have only 6 months to live. Today they are living after 15, 20 years, still going healthy. So don't be carried away with Western medicine, and they are not the ultimate. Ultimate is you, and if you can make your creator your friend, he becomes your partner, and both of you together can do wonders. And that is the day when I'm looking forward, when Ayurveda, which was the ancient system of medicine, when the first argument with the World Health Organization was, much before the onset of Western medicine, have not countries had illnesses? Have not every country had its own systems? And why was it not recognized? But to a great extent, our great masters never ever had a claim. They never tried to market their knowledge. You can never find any great grantha as author so-and-so, so-and-so. They invented, and they were fully convinced no invention of theirs was theirs. It is all the Lord's creation. And there is no right for you to claim that I am the author, I own the know-how. The question of patenting never came up. Only today, people, I don't say they robbed it from them or they took it away from here. Great masters, whether they are from any part of the world, there's a saying, saints shake hands across continents. So somebody else must have picked up these thoughts. Now a stage is coming, we need to go back, and today many youngsters have started doing research of anthropology or whatever sciences you call, trying to go back into a past, pull out the literature which are available. Recently when I was in the Tanju library, the great Marathi kings have set up the Saraswati Mahal library. There are volumes and volumes of manuscripts which are available for being transcribed. And Western medicine today, the success of Western medicine is, there are doctors at different levels, many behind the screen, many going in-depth studies, basic research. But where are we? Every student who comes out of IIT college, what is your thought? Set up a clinic. We always say, think big. Why a clinic? Why not a hospital? And today from the whole world, almost every country in the world is rushing to India to learn Ayurveda. I keep telling, by the next generation children who want to learn Ayurveda, I only wish they don't start going to Brazil or Argentina or China, Japan to learn Ayurveda. Because students from there are coming and mastering. The way they come and learn sitting under the tree early morning at 4 o'clock, and as though they are studying for their final year degree course, they take so much interest in study. Here we take it for granted because my grandfather was a great Vaidya. But what are you? Why can't we become great like this? And if that way, with a seriousness that this is not a science or a livelihood, certainly livelihood is also going to be looked after. But it's going to be a science for me to take care of the society. A society which is sick, who wants healing to be done by amazing masters of the science. Definitely we can bring back the science not only as a national system of medicine, but a day is going to come before all of your term on the earth is over as a global system of the prime medical system. With these prayers, hoping to look forward to all of you who listen to these courses, to find a guru immediately after graduation, spend a year or two with them, get all their knowledge transferred to your head, and you will become one of the most amazing Vaidyas of the past who will be Vaidyas of the future. Namaste.